Ladies and gentlemen.
Good day, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Let's take a look at things, shall we? Today's blood sugar is 8.4. As you can see, the last close to 22 hours, I had a few little spikes here, but then I pretty well stayed within the green area. All in all, pretty good. My basal's being fairly active. We've seen it look a little bit more active. And my correction has been working a little bit now, but during the night it was pretty stable. And all night it was sitting around 6, 7. So good night. Okay, time and range is 95% time and range. 5 above, which is starting to be time to show that we need to do more work. In range, 95, which means there's nothing for low blood sugar. So yesterday we kept things within the boundaries. Average blood sugar is up a bit, 7.3. Doesn't mean that you're doing bad. This is just a guide for you to hone in what you need to work on. And it's not a great big thing. Actually, my doctor would probably say you're doing all right. Actually, he may say you may want to cut back, but that's a different story. Today, I want to discuss. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you around. Is having diabetes the end? Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to give you my viewpoint, and of course, everyone's going to say, well, Mike, you've had diabetes for 47 years. Of course, you're not going to say diabetes is the end. But a lot of people who are diagnosed think that this is it. My life is over. I'm going to be dead within 5 years. It's a lot of the mystique of being a diabetic. What's life truly going to be like? I can't eat sweets. I can't go out and drink. That seems, in younger people, that seems to be one of the number one there. Sorry, my bed finally. But trying to convey that to a youngster is really difficult. And a lot of people just don't know how to do it. Oh, well, you have diabetes, but it's only a shot, and you'll be able to live your life. Getting over that initial roadblock can be really difficult. And I've seen it many, many, many times. Having your diabetes is going to be difficult. I can remember myself trying to inject my needle, and at that time we had to pinch our skin and put it in, and I just sat there for half an hour, and finally the nurse just pushed it in for me. And then after that, I was able to do it, no problem. But we have to break down the mystique so that if people are diagnosed with diabetes, they don't have to worry. We have to get out, we have to do things and be a positive influence. I know myself, I'm going through quite a bit of diabetes issues over the years, but still, my day to day life isn't a downer. Yes, I have to follow my pump and I have to take a look at what my blood sugar is and if I have to do a correction. But that does not mean it's the end of the road. Definitely, being diabetic for me, was not sort of in mystery. I wasn't depressed. I just thought, okay. But a lot of people take it personally and, oh, this will totally affect my life. And to tell you the truth, it does affect your life, but it's up to you on how you incorporate your diabetes stuff into your life. I've used this illustration quite a bit on this channel, and that is diabetes can be here. And what this illustrates is diabetes always in your face. You always have to worry about taking needles, eating wrong, and having it over here. And over here is when you learn about diabetes. You can still see it and you know it's there, and you have to do your blood sugars, take your shot, but it's not always in your face. So don't be so down. You need to be open to new ideas. Um, my life, and then bring it back to this pump, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Oh, that this pump has helped tremendously. But if more shots works better for you, great. Just come up with a system that works for you with your doctor's help. I would really suggest, if you're newly diagnosed, that you go to I used to call it diabetic daycare, but a diabetic education center, and get registered in there and attend classes or do one-on-one with a diabetic nurse. I was skeptical at first. My doctor suggested, well, when I was in the hospital once, this was St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, and the doctor said, um, well, I'd like you to take diabetes education. And at that point, I had been to like 3 or 4. I thought I knew everything about diabetes. And he said, I want you to audit it. He never asked for it. It was like, hey, Mike, your diabetes is difficult to control. Maybe we should find what exactly is going on. Okay. And I sat there and I took the week-long course. But no one asked me about it, so it was just he wanted me to learn. But now, if somebody had said, well, maybe you should go to diabetes education. Well, thank you. I already do. It's not a formal diabetes education class. For me, and for many years now, it's been one on one with my diabetic nurse and sometimes the doctor. The three of us come up with a plan and execute. Lately, my diabetes appointments have been over the phone with my diabetic nurse and through the internet with my doctor. But I'm not out there alone doing everything. And how am I going to integrate this all into my life? It's just going to be terrible. No, it's not. You will just have to work it in to a system in your life. It's as simple as that. Your blood sugars will go through a time where you're going to think you're doing the worst job ever. And I went through that period when I was on injections and getting injection. Well, at that time it was one injection a day, but then I had to eat all the time and eating something wrong. And brought this story up before. I flew, my dad was in Edmonton working, so I flew to spend the weekend with him. My sister, who I was staying with at the time, said, oh, well, what did you have to eat on the plane? And I labeled the things. And I said, lima beans. You're not allowed lima beans. Oh my God, I don't know why I wasn't allowed them. But you have too many vegetables. Oh God, now we know that's not really a big thing. But at that time, it was. So you would miss that if you didn't go in and learn. Another example of learning things was my doctor had got me on to 4 shots a day. That's how we were told. We were kind of mimicking what was going on with the pump before I got the pump. I can remember it was Thanksgiving dinner. I knew I couldn't have like the carrots, but I could have more meat because there were very little carbs in it. I had that meat, or I had the meal. It was fine. I took a look, counted the carbs, gave myself a shot. I did not go high. So I've learned. For a while there, God forbid, I don't know why, but when I was living on my own, I'd get home from work and I didn't want to cook. God, I could have had meals prepped, but I wasn't that organized. God forbid. I would start ordering pizza, and I would pretty well end up having pizza every night. Or if it wasn't pizza, it was lasagna from the same restaurant. And I ate that. My blood sugars would go through the roof. And I mentioned this to my nurse, a dietitian at the time, and she said, well, of course, it's fat. It's going to hold on to the sugar. It didn't even occur to me. I'm sure somewhere years ago they told us this. But it was kind of like, oh, yeah, of course. So I would monitor 2 hours, and if I was starting to go up, if I ate, took my insulin, chances are I'd drop, and then the fats would just take over and go straight up till I wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night, having to go to the bathroom, be thirsty. And I was doing this for months. I finally got on the ball and started cooking for myself. But you have to be open to learning, because learning is going to help you succeed. And once you get into a routine of doing things, you're going to lay back and say, what was such a big thing? I know when to call for help. I worked with that because I have a plan of when to give myself extra insulin to bring down my blood sugars and when to not. You have to learn these things. But telling someone who is just freshly diagnosed that this is going to be the beginning of things till the end of time, no, they're going to think, I can't have candy anymore. Or, I can't go out drinking with my friends. Well, maybe you could go out drinking. Just watch and learn and ask questions about what you can have or what's the better alcohol to have if you are drinking. Or maybe how to count carbs. It's open. Or what the dangers are and what to look forward. But your life that you know it may be over, because there's a little bit more you have to do with diabetes. However, your life incorporated with diabetes has just begun, and you can do it. You can solve anything. It may take time. For me, it's been a little rocky road, but get on the road and drive a nice paved road where things go smoothly. I am a brittle or labile diabetic, but that doesn't mean I don't have successes. And I thought my life was over when I first got it, but then it was like, oh well, it's an adventure. Things can work for you too. Don't give up on yourself. You'll succeed. Have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email address is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. All one line. Drop me